Hello and welcome to the Jesus Podcast. My name is Jesus. You can call me Jesus. A little bit less technical difficulty this time. Well, can't complain. Less difficulty is better than more, right? So, making progress. I'm doing something different this time. I kind of wrote my whole monologue. I did a monologue. I wrote a monologue for this thing. Because I think that there's things that need to happen, and also very important. HR1. I've been pumping this. Call your senator and tell them not to pass this bill, because freedom of speech is at stake. They want to appoint a commission, a 10-person commission, and they will get to decide on social media, what is and what is not a threat to the state of our nation. And I understand that maybe it was written with good intentions, but I just okay, I'm going to be honest. If Nancy Pelosi wants it, I question if it's ethical or not. How about that? If Mitch McConnell wants, it's going to go through. If they want it to go through, it's going to go through because it passed the House. It's going to pass. If it passes the Senate, freedom of speech is at stake. It really is. The First Amendment will be at stake because an independent, lifetime panel of whomever, appointed by whomever, will be able to decide. That post from Russia, we gotta take that off. How do you know that post is from Russia? I'm still waiting for all the evidence that Russia even did anything. I think that's why Putin laughs, because we're all over the place in his country, and he's like, "Hey, you want to send this guy over here?" I get it. I'm not for killing people, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna go over there and do some, spy shit, you're gonna get fucked up. That's just opinion. Excuse me. For those of you who don't approve, it's legal in my state and my God-given right. I can't believe I forgot this. So, hello to all my sinners and saints and my demons and demigods. I don't know. I can't look at myself when I do this because I get self-conscious. So I'm trying not to look. And I notice I have a tendency to tilt my head in one direction or another, and I'm trying to keep it straight. I feel I'm like George Clooney, but George Clooney, when he talks, he's like, he kind of bobs his head. My head just cocks over. So I'm not trying to look at it because it'll fuck with my mind. Okay, so HR1, call your senator, go to senate.gov, take care of it ASAP. We cannot have that bill come into this country, or we are fucked. It is, if you want to read it yourself, I'm not even going to tell you what's in there. Just go to Title 3, Section C, Subtitle C, Section 3202, and read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. It says it there in not plain English, because I had to read it 3 times to make sure I was understanding this correctly. So, but in case none of you notice, I had a little bit of popularity this week on the TikToks. I've been doing social media somewhat for however many years. Not like social media. Because I find it very distracting, very divisive. Some people are just crazy, and I have things that I want to do, and I can't spend all day on there. So, I've got almost 300,000 views on one hit, and that was if you want to go check it out, it's at personal_Jesus on TikTok. All it was I think an 11-second it was a short video of the amount of garbage that is on some of the along that lines some of the highways. Like that one in particular was the Sunset Overpass and the 101 freeway in Hollywood, and there was just so much garbage there. And of course, in the title, I put 2/3 of all fires in Los Angeles happen with are because of the homeless population. And that's not saying I'm saying that because we've had homeless encampments cause a lot of fires that destroyed homes. We had one off the 101 that was caused by that. But so it's a problem here because the way that they get revenge on each other, the way they, their street justice or their homeless justice, I guess you can call, is, torching your shit. Because if, all your shit's burned, you don't have no shit and you don't have any place to stay. So, that's not good. And you can go around the city and you'll see a single tree will be on fire, or you're like, oh, how did that catch on fire? It's because some guy decided to burn his buddy's tent for whatever reason. So it's not a good thing. It's a problem, and which brings me to my topic, my monologue, what I'm going to talk about. So I'm just going to read this because I took a lot of time, and I think it's pretty good. It's the first draft, by the way. Okay, toot my own horn. It might suck. I don't know. All right. Homelessness. It's a problem in major cities around the country. I personally can only speak about what I see in Los Angeles. And what I see is actually appalling. I got to be honest with this. Currently, the answer seems to be give them tents. Because, but the city and the county don't call them tents. They say shelters. So when you ever hear anything, we have over 100,000 or 10,000 homeless sheltered. That means we've given out 10,000 tents. And when they do, by the way, when they do build buildings, or when they make housing units, let's call them that, they're $500,000 a pop. I mean, that's how much it costs the city or the county to make housing units. $500,000 per unit to house a homeless person with gyms. Now, I'm not saying that they don't need to exercise, but I'm saying it's like, let's get them housed first and then worry about gym membership a little later on. Let's get them off the methamphetamine or the opioids, or, get them, reassimilated into society. And then we'll work on the physical health side. We really have to work on the mental health side and the addiction, and slowly get into that workout. But no, they just want to give out tents, which in my opinion is like putting a Band-Aid on a severed finger. Sure, it will hold, but that's not going to solve your problem. You just got a dead appendage attached to your live hand, Unfortunately, the state of California, with the 6th largest economy in the world. By the way, thanks to tech giants like Facebook, Google, Apple, etc., we can afford a big enough Band-Aid to attach that finger as it rots away. So, they were like, we can let that rot for a while. It's still there, We can still kind of grab things with it. It's well attached. But that doesn't solve the problem. Get infections, sepsis, and the fact that your finger's rotting off. Because, me personally, I like to have, well, I have 10, but, I like them all. I like them all equally. One's not better than another. Maybe the pinky could go. If it had to go. If I had to choose one, it would be the pinky. All right. Now, I'm sure many of you are saying, that's what you get for voting Democrat, you libtard. I get it. I would say thanks. Are you here to help? No, you're not. You're not here to help. You're just gonna pick on my political choices, even though I haven't been able to vote for any different party since Schwarzenegger. That's right. The Republican Governor Schwarzenegger said, "Hey, let's do this, and maybe we'll get more Democrats to go become moderate." Nope, nope, nope. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Every local election that in my district that I have to vote for, my only choice is Democrat. It's 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 I have a one party. I have no other choice. Democrat. You know, I mean, I could vote for the other guy, but I'd have to. I could change that. I mean, that's what the. Let me just keep reading. All right. The Republican governor who made it all possible, by the way, Schwarzenegger. Then okay. So let me go back. If you just want to pick on my political choices, even though I haven't been able to vote for a different party since Schwarzenegger, the Republican governor who made it possible, by the way, then you are part of the problem. I know. You don't live in the state. You're a lifelong Republican who lives in the reddest state, and there's no homeless problem where you live. Fantastic. I'm glad you don't. I'm glad to hear you don't have any piles of garbage lining your city highways and roads, or homeless encampments dotting just about every neighborhood in your city. I do want to know what is wrong with your city. That's kind of what I want to know. Have the jobs gone overseas? Did you place did your place of work close because of COVID-19, or are you unable to receive health care? Do you need to move? Did you need to move back home with your parents, or maybe vice versa? Maybe your parents had to move in with you. My point is, whatever's happening where you live, I'm sure you're not happy with the situation. I know I'm not. And I'm working, and I'm not happy. So when you think about it, we do have that in common. Where the majority of us are not happy with what's going on, not only locally, but regionally and across the country. It's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans, and it's definitely not me. And I'm just going to go on a limb and say I'm sure it's not you either. If we could agree that you and I, the citizens of our great nation, are not the problem, then who is? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's a quote that goes back as far as the 4th century BCE. I just want to say that I'm not your enemy either. And I don't care what you believe, where you live, the color of your skin, or who you love. I don't. That has no impact on my life whatsoever. If it doesn't impact me personally, I don't give a fuck. All right? I don't care what gender you want to be. And don't get me wrong. All right? I don't care. I don't care what your pronouns are. That's more term. I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't care if you want to call yourself a woman, you want to grow long hair, but still, have a hairy chest and a dick. Fine. Have at it. Have at it. Go to town, go nuts, go crazy. Get the boob job, keep the dick. Whatever it may be, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want. But from my point of view, we are being divided by color, by culture, by lifestyle, by religious belief. I don't think you, a fellow citizen, thinks of me as an enemy either. We do have a common enemy, and they have us so afraid of what might happen if one party takes control of our government. It's the end of our nation as we know it. Well, between you and me, my fellow citizens, that's a flat out lie. I've lived on this earth for 50 years. And I can say without a doubt, it doesn't matter what party's in charge. Let's just take the current administration, for example. If one person can tell me the one campaign promise President Biden made on the campaign trail while he was running for president, I will sell you all my Bitcoin. I will send you all my Bitcoin. No, yeah. Well, no, like $20. I'll give you like 20. Not all. I don't know why I wrote that. But only to the first person. Not everybody's going to get the $20 with it. So if you make a comment and you can give me like one of his campaign promises as he was running for president. I'm not talking about the $2,000 check promise in Georgia that isn't coming either. I'm talking about on the campaign trail. I'll send you $20 worth of Bitcoin. Anyway, I personally can't recall. Except we need to get Trump out of office. You know, whatever is it? With his squinty eyes. We need to get Trump out. Come on, man. We need to get Trump out of office. What's with the beady eyes? What's with that skin? Like, how much Botox is in his skin? It's like pulled so tight. My God. Anyway, it's like you could see underneath it. Like, if under the right light, I bet you could see his skull. That's how you know, thin his skin is. Sorry, I have to help with the cat. There you go. Okay. Yep, nope. All right, hold on. This is Chloe. She's my little sidekick. She's got a little chair here with a little thing because she loves me. Anyway, before anyone like gets all crazy, full disclosure, I voted for Trump. I'm not going to defend my reasons why, because honestly, it's none of your fucking business. And if you don't like it, you're more than welcome to unsubscribe, slap that dislike button, and, move on. Now, back to the topic at hand. Let's be honest. Biden would have lost if Nancy Pelosi hadn't let the House approve a second stimulus check, which I find strange. Like, they worked so hard for like a stimulus, and then however many months. So that was November, and then December, and then January 20. That was a lot of time to like come up with a plan, and yet they're still working on it. Like 36 months later. 36 days later. And now our $2,000 checks became $1,400 checks. And those of us who made over X amount of dollars in 2019 are excluded. So, like, Donald Trump sent out more checks to more people than right now. I mean, like, 2020 was a huge money-making year for the vast majority of Americans, Like, if you made X amount of dollars, you made too much money in 2020. Really, those people were probably, living off savings, is my guess. Political overlords. The money that keeps those politicians in power and the monopolies that make it possible. If you look up fascism, corporate feudalism, New World Order, whatever you want to call it, it's happening right under our noses, and they are weaponizing our social media to turn us, you, and me against one another. And I'm sorry to say it's working. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I can give you an example. I can give you an example. My accuracy with this piece of information is 100%. And not only that, 100% of you will agree will agree with me. And those of you who don't, well, you're just fucking lying. You know, and that's the truth. I can tell with a one-word answer to one question. I can tell you how conservative or liberal you are with 100% accuracy. I don't know how many of you thought about this. It's been a little experiment of mine for like a number of years now. Like I ask people to say, hey, are you ready for the question? Like seriously, are you ready? Because I'm gonna. All right, I'm just. What news channel do you watch or follow or stream online? That's the question. That's the question I ask. What news channel do you watch, follow, or stream online? Mic drop. Boom. I'm kidding. Obviously, I was kidding because the camera's still rolling, but you get my point. Oh, well, what is my point? My point is, if I know your political belief system just by what you watch, then none of us are really getting any news. We're getting propagandized news that aligns with our political points of view. That conservative or liberal slant is entangled with fear and hate. And as any Star Wars fan knows, which I am one, did I get that? I think I got that in camera. I'm going to just assume, because I'm not looking at myself. Fear and hate lead to the dark side. And fear and hate are dividing us as citizens. Fear and hate keep us from being truly informed. We are all on social media trying to make our points because the ruling class, headed by Pelosi and McConnell, although that's questionable with Donald Trump, there's a little shit going on there, and the corporate oligarchs who finance them, Bezos, Musk, Diamond, Zuckerberg, Schmidt, Pate, the list goes on and on. And you get my point. You see, those gentlemen, most of their money is tied up in company stocks, which, by the way, they get for free in the tens of thousands. So, for example, Bezos does not have $190 billion in cash, which, by the way, I just want everybody to know, if you were to take Jeff Bezos is $1 million a day. If you were to spend $1 million a day, every day, it would take you 2.7 years to spend $1 billion. 2.7 years. He's got 190. That's 5 lifetimes. All right? 5 lifetimes. 500 years. Approximately. 500 years. But, so he gets it for free, right? And anyone who knows the stock market, you just look this up. They get to sell them on the open market at market price, whatever that might be. So, for example, Amazon's like, what, $3,000, somewhere around there, almost $3,000 a share. I don't know for sure, but it's up there. It's over 2,000. And when they do get that, they pay taxes on it, of course, but they pay capital gains tax, which is, I think, is like anywhere from like 13 to 15%. Where you and I, who, earn an hourly wage or are salaried, we get paid like around, we pay about 25% in tax, so like a quarter of that. And even if we pay less, and we get a tax refund, well, that money's still being held or used by someone else but you. So while you and I pay, 25% and money is taken out of our Social Security, The wealthy pay 15% in capital gains and stock profits, and are only taxed on $142,800 or 142.8K of their income, which is about 6.2%, is what gets taken out in Social Security tax. But it stops if they make like 142,801. That $1 at that point is no longer taxed for Social Security. So any amount of money over that $142,800 does not get that 6.2% tax. So however much money you pay into Social Security, and I can look mine up, but I didn't. So let's just say, for example, Jeff Bezos liquidated, $1 billion worth of his stock last year, and he only had to pay into Social Security of all that $142,800 was taxed for Social Security. That's it. Nothing more. Anything over that, you're good to go. So that is completely unfair, but it's legal. I'm not crying about it. I mean, it's legal, but there's something that you need to know, that we all need to know. If we were to tax it all, that could be a passive way without having to do anything crazy legislation, aside from like upping it to your entire liquid wealth. Personally, I think it should be on their entire estate. That would go a long way to solve the problem that we're having. I mean, people could get more. We could have health care. You know what I'm saying? We could do stuff with that money, instead of spending it all on. But back in the 70s, the average citizen was taxed at 17%. And you could thank President Reagan for that, for every point after that. You and me, the average person trying to keep a roof over their head or food on the table, or are paying for economic prosperity the majority of us can't participate in. What can we do? What can you do? What can I do? For one, you can find out the office numbers of your city, county, state, and federal representatives, and stop tweeting to people you don't know, and don't make any policy. I don't make policy. You don't make policy. We vote these people in and they just still do what they want. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like only 30% of what we want actually gets done. And they water down that 30%, so we don't even get that. We need to be politically intelligent. And for now, truly and honestly, put aside our differences. Forget about the stuff that separates us. That doesn't matter in our personal lives. I'm not saying we can't bring it up later. I'm not saying that, you can't stand out in front of an abortion clinic, or you can't, be upset over the fact that, you got to call Gary, Sheila now. Whatever it might be. Only, he's just put on a dress or whatever. My point is, that's fine. You want to rage on that, that's fine, but realize that it's hurting you, and it's hurting me, and it's hurting your neighbor. It's not hurting people, it's hurting everybody. Except, I think, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like less than 300,000 people. It's a book. I can't remember the actual number, but it's something like about 300,000 people actually like control what goes on, because they get to decide who, that's where all their money funnels to, all this stuff. I mean, I even joined Represent Us thinking that this was the way to go until I read the fucking bill. I was duped. We have to read, man. And believe me, that was not an easy read. But one of their little snots pissed me off because he likes to put. Anyway, he's a control freak. Yeah. Join them and like fucking mock them if you want. I'm so upset with it. I haven't gone back in there because I don't want to look like a fool or I don't want to be angry. I want to be concise, resolute, and pointed with my questions regarding that movement. It's fucking ridiculous. Sorry, I went off on that tangent. We need to unite. We need to peacefully demonstrate in the streets and make citizens arrest of any provocateurs attempting to use the opportunity for violence and vandalism. Those are the people who are fucking it up. Gandhi took out kicked the British out of India and peacefully, without lifting one weapon, without spilling, well, they spilled their own blood. But what I'm saying is, that is the only way to do it, is through peace. And if there's anybody who is out there vandalizing or causing violence, it is up to you, the people around them, instead of observing, that you stop them. All right? If you're going to go out and protest, don't let anybody, what do they say? They take over, not take over. It'll come to me. One person can change the world. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus Christ. One person can have an impact. E pluribus unum. In my opinion, the true motto of our nation, which means out of many, one. We are that one person. We can make a change. We can make ripples. We can start locally. And those ripples will become waves and propagate through our state. And those waves can become a tsunami of change that will wash the corruption out of this country over these bought and paid for politicians, career politicians who do not have our interests at heart. HR1 just proves that. We need change, and as united citizens, we can make it happen. And I ask you all now to join me, to stop pointing fingers at one another and offer your hand in solidarity. Let's lock arms, stand resolute, and march in our streets united in one cause: the restoration of power to the citizens of our great nation. I ask you to stand united to bring change and put the real enemy of the people to justice. We don't need to execute people. We just need to get them out in the most peaceful way possible. That's the end of my podcast for today. I want to thank anybody who watches, who subscribes. And please share. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to do anything. But just realize, I am not your enemy. Your Democratic neighbor is not your enemy. Your Republican parents are not your enemy. Californians are not your enemy. The citizens of this country are not your enemy, no matter how woke they think they are. If we don't unite, if we can't agree that the people in charge, the people who make the laws, and the lobbyists who write those laws, and the people who pay those lobbyists to write those laws are not the problem, then you're blind and ignorant, and I can't help you. And I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying you are completely misinformed about what's going on, and you need to educate yourself. And if you think censorship is the way to do it, then you're wrong. Because if you are too afraid of an idea or a word, then that's your problem that you need to fix. Because there is no topic or subject that I cannot listen to, read, or see that will make me fear of the possibility of that propagating. You know, whether it be racism, whether it be, you know, if you don't agree with the LGBT community, that's fine, but they deserve a voice. If you don't agree with a born-again Christian, that's fine. They deserve a voice. If you don't agree that someone who's racist is allowed to speak, that's fine. But they have that right. And when they take the right away from them, they're going to find somebody else to take that right away from. And then they're going to find somebody else and somebody else until pretty soon, none of us have any rights. And that's how it works. They don't take it away from you all at once. They take it away from you incrementally. They take it away from you so you don't notice. During Obama, good example. They took away your right to require somebody to sell your personal information, to require your signature, to require your permission to sell your personal information to a third party under President Obama. Okay? Just remember that. All right? Ronald Reagan raised my parents' taxes. I wasn't paying them. And he cut the tax for the wealthy. Trickle-down economics. How's that working for this country? Really? China manufactures everything. How do I know? Because the PPE I get, and by the way, I do work for a COVID-19 testing company, full disclosure. The PPE that I put on, the mask, the, schmuck, robe, whatever, the thing that I tie around to protect me, all comes from China. Every bit of it. I didn't send any jobs to China. You didn't send any jobs to China. I didn't, those immigrants who are coming over, if you're worried about them taking your jobs, then you need to have a better set of skills. Because if some person who, A, doesn't speak the language and has at best a basic set of skills can take your job, that's a problem. Not for me, for you. And it also creates a slave class. This country still works on slavery. It really does. That's the engine of this nation. We're enslaving a undocumented population. They're in our slaughterhouses. They're in our fields. And we pay them pennies on the dollar because they're undocumented. So if you want change, think about that. Okay? You want to change the immigration system? That's not going to change because these parties, which are one party, because they get money from the same people, they're influenced by the same lobbyists. They want it that way. They want conflict. They want me and you angry at each other arguing over pronouns, arguing over Dr. Seuss books, arguing over whatever as they take from us. We still have habeas corpus suspended, which, by the way, means that you could go to federal prison for absolutely no reason whatsoever, because habeas corpus, literally translation, means produce the body, show me the evidence. They don't need any evidence to put you in jail anymore. They've proven they don't care if you lose your job because, Amazon, all the major, Target, everybody was allowed, those big corporations were allowed to stay open. They're because they were considered essential, but your little job wasn't. Yeah. So you can sit there and bag on Democrats, but you're not helping. You're hurting. All right, that's all I have to say. It's really emotional. I can't handle it. I'm very disillusioned. Anyway, remember, if I can pass along any wisdom, fail. Fail hard, fail often, so you can succeed, because you can't get to success. You can't get to the top. You can't climb unless you're failing, learning. Because if you're failing, you're learning. If you're learning, you're failing. Nobody gets it right 100%. Not even the best in the world. They still think, I got more to lose. And you definitely do not want to succeed at doing nothing, which is what a lot of us are doing. Good luck. Have a good day. Cheers.